Have you ever felt like something's guiding you to make decisions you can't explain with logic? Maybe it was a dream you couldn't ignore, or that feeling in your chest when something just doesn't add up. You're not alone, and what you're experiencing isn't random. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist who spent his life unraveling the mysteries of the human soul, left us a powerful message. Everything you need to transform your life is already inside you. Think about it. How many times have you looked for answers outside yourself? Maybe in books, advice from friends, or even on social media. But what Jung discovered, and what few people dare to explore, is that the deepest answers lie within you. That connection to your unconscious, to what we often ignore or push down, is the key to understanding who you really are. This moment, right now, as you're watching this video, isn't a coincidence either. Jung had a fascinating concept called synchronicity, which explains how certain events align in an almost magical way when you're on the right path. Something inside you brought you here, as if a part of you knew you needed to hear this message right now. And that's the first step, recognizing that you're not here by chance. Throughout your life, you've probably felt moments of disconnection, like you're following a script someone else wrote for you. Maybe you've been stuck in relationships that don't fulfill you, or chasing goals that seemed important but left you empty once you reached them. That feeling of dissatisfaction. It's your unconscious calling out, begging you to look inside and find what truly matters. Jung taught us that within each of us is a vast universe filled with symbols, stories, and meanings waiting to be explored. Those weird dreams, those emotions you can't explain, even the people who cross your path unexpectedly, they're all clues. Everything's connected, and your unconscious uses these signs to help you find your purpose. Imagine for a moment that your life is like a giant puzzle. Some pieces fit perfectly, but others seem out of place. The problem is we often try to force pieces where they don't belong just because we're afraid to face the empty space left behind when we let them go. But here's the secret. When you release what's not meant for you, you make room for what you truly need. In that process of letting go, something incredible happens. The right people start showing up, opportunities come naturally, and most importantly, you find an inner peace that once seemed out of reach. It's like the universe, or your unconscious, responds to your choice to live in alignment with your true self. But this path isn't easy. Jung talked about facing our shadows, those parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. Maybe it's a deep fear, an insecurity, or even a buried desire you're afraid to admit. We all have shadows, and most people hide them because they don't want to deal with the pain or discomfort they bring. Here's the truth, though. Those shadows don't disappear just because you ignore them. In fact, the more you suppress them, the more power they have over you. Shadows show up in subtle but powerful ways, maybe in relationships that drain you, decisions you make out of fear instead of trust, or those moments when you feel like life's passing you by. But it's not the universe working against you. It's your unconscious begging you to pay attention. When you decide to face them, when you choose to integrate them instead of running away, something magical happens. You start taking back control of your life. This journey to authenticity takes courage. It means letting go of the masks you wear to fit in, dropping the expectations others have placed on you, and daring to be who you really are. But you know what's amazing? When you do this, you don't just transform your own life, you inspire the people around you to do the same. Dare to think about this. Everything that bothers you in others, everything that throws you off balance, is often a reflection of something inside you. Jung called this projection. What you see in others is often what you haven't recognized or accepted in yourself. Those people who keep challenging you aren't there by accident. They're acting as mirrors for your own shadows, showing you what you need to work on. Imagine how your life would change if, instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you saw those situations as opportunities to grow. It's tough, I know, but when you start observing your reactions and patterns and ask yourself, what part of me is being reflected here? You realize every challenge is an invitation to know yourself better. This doesn't mean you have to accept everything or let people hurt you. It means you get to set clear, healthy boundaries, protect your energy, and consciously choose who and how you want to connect with. Jung believed our energy is sacred, and we need to treat it like the fuel that powers our lives. When you learn to say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to what really matters. Now, here's where things get interesting. Every time you choose to align with your authenticity, the universe responds. It's like something bigger than you steps in to help. The right people start showing up, doors that were closed begin to open, and things that seemed impossible start to flow. This isn't magic, it's the synchronicity Jung talked about. It's the result of living in harmony with your truth. But don't get it twisted. This process isn't about chasing perfection or getting rid of all the chaos in your life. Chaos, in fact, is a key part of your transformation. Jung said there's no awakening of consciousness without pain. It's in those moments of confusion, when everything seems to be falling apart, that you get the chance to rebuild from a place of greater wisdom and clarity. Think of it like a forest after a fire. At first everything looks lost, but over time, life comes back stronger and more vibrant than before. That's your inner process. Every time you go through a tough moment and choose to learn from it instead of fighting it, you're letting something new and beautiful bloom inside you. This journey doesn't happen overnight. It's ongoing work, a daily practice of connecting with yourself. It's about learning to trust your intuition, paying attention to those quiet whispers we often ignore because we're too busy or distracted. That inner voice is your compass, and the more you listen to it, the easier it becomes to navigate life. And here's something important. You don't have to do it alone. While this path is deeply personal, it's also true that we're all connected. There's an invisible web linking everyone, and when you open up and share your truth, you inspire others to do the same. It's like lighting your own flame helps brighten the way for others. Take a moment now and think about this. What parts of yourself have you been ignoring? What dreams have you set aside because you thought they were impossible or because you were scared to fail? Those parts of you aren't gone. They're patiently waiting for you to recognize them and bring them back into your life. When you choose to reconnect with those dreams, with those forgotten pieces of yourself, something amazing happens. You start feeling an energy you thought was lost. Your creativity, your excitement, your passion for life, it all comes rushing back. And that energy doesn't just lift you up, it touches everyone around you. You become a beacon, a living example of what it means to live authentically. It all starts with one small step, the courage to pause and listen amid the noise of the modern world, where we're constantly bombarded with expectations, distractions, and pressures. Stopping might feel like an act of rebellion, but it's in that silence, in that pause, where you can truly start hearing yourself. Your unconscious is always speaking. You don't need to be a psychology expert to understand it. It talks through your emotions, your dreams, and those seemingly random moments that hit you deep inside. Jung said that when you pay attention to these signals, you begin building a relationship with the part of you that holds the keys to your fulfillment. It's like turning on a flashlight in a dark room. Suddenly, things start making sense. Think about those times you've had a dream that felt especially vivid, or a gut feeling that led you down the right path even though you couldn't explain it. Those are windows into your unconscious, chances to understand yourself better. But it's not enough to just notice them. You have to act. Every little step you take toward integrating these parts of yourself strengthens your connection to your truth. One of the biggest challenges on this path is facing your fears. Jung described fear as a shadow, something that looks big and scary because we project it onto the world around us. But when you decide to confront it, you realize it's just an illusion, an echo of something from the past that only has power over you if you let it. This process of facing your shadows isn't about fighting yourself. It's about accepting yourself completely. Even the parts of you that you see as flaws or weaknesses have something valuable to teach you. Jung called it the work of integration, taking all that you are, the good and the bad, and turning it into a source of strength and wisdom. A practical example. Pay attention to the relationships in your life. Is there someone who constantly stirs up strong emotions in you, whether positive or negative? That person might be reflecting something you need to explore within yourself. Maybe their lack of commitment bugs you because it reminds you of your own fears of failure. Or maybe you admire their confidence because it's something you want to grow in yourself. Every interaction is a chance to learn something about you. When you start seeing your relationships this way, you free yourself from judgment and blame. Instead of pointing fingers at others for how they make you feel, you take ownership of your emotions and use those experiences to grow. This doesn't mean you should put up with mistreatment or stay in toxic situations, quite the opposite. It means you can set boundaries from a place of self-love and respect for your energy. Speaking of boundaries, let me remind you of something crucial. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's an act of love. Jung taught us that our energy is limited and precious, and we need to direct it toward what nourishes and lifts us up. If you're always giving everything to others while neglecting your own needs, you'll eventually feel burned out and disconnected. Give yourself permission to prioritize, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Make time for your passions, your dreams, the things that truly matter to you. When you do, you don't just improve your own life, you inspire those around you too. It's a virtuous cycle. When you're good, you can give your best to others. This brings us to something fundamental Jung emphasized: reconnecting with your dreams. Do you remember who you were before the world's expectations shaped you? Maybe as a kid, you dreamed of creating, exploring, learning. But as you grew up, those dreams got buried under responsibilities and fears. Jung believed those dreams don't vanish, they hide in your unconscious, waiting for the right moment to come back. Maybe that moment is now. Ask yourself, what lit you up before you started doubting yourself? What activity makes you lose track of time? The answers to those questions are a beacon that can guide you back to yourself. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. But every small step you take toward those dreams is an act of reconnecting with your essence. Everything you've heard so far isn't just theory, it's an invitation to start the most important journey of your life, the return to yourself. It's time to let go of doubts, unintegrated shadows, and patterns that have pulled you away from your truth. This is your moment. No matter how long you've spent following paths that didn't feel right, you can always begin again. Imagine what it would be like to wake up every day feeling aligned with who you really are, certain that you're living an authentic life. This isn't some far-off dream. It's something you can start building today. The key is to listen to yourself, to trust those signals coming from deep within, because when you let yourself be authentic, the universe gets on your side. Take a second to reflect. What could you let go of today that no longer resonates with you? What part of yourself could you accept, embrace, and integrate to feel more whole? The answers to those questions are your first step toward the transformation you've been longing for. And now, I want to invite you to be part of something bigger. This message doesn't end here. If it struck a chord with you, if something in these words has made you feel ready to change, share this video with someone who needs it. It could be the spark that ignites something powerful in them, just like it's doing for you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what touched your heart the most? Or what's the first step you'll take after hearing this? Your words don't just have the power to inspire others who read them, they'll also help this content reach more people who need it. Together we can create a community where authenticity, growth, and understanding are the foundation for transforming our lives. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next messages. Every time you share, comment, or engage, you're helping bring this reflection to someone who might be waiting for exactly this to change their life. Remember, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Every choice you make, every action you take from this moment on, has the power to bring you closer to your best self. You've got everything you need inside you to live fully. And if you ever doubt that, come back to this video. I'll be here to remind you of who you really are. Thanks for being here, for listening, and above all, for daring to take this step toward your authenticity. See you in the next video. Until then, keep searching, keep exploring, and most of all, keep believing in yourself. Because the world needs more authentic people like you.